Welcome to our Middle East Briefing program. Today, we delve into the somber reflections marking a year since the October 7 attacks in Israel, where the nation grapples with ongoing conflict and divides over government responses. Prime Minister Netanyahu remains steadfast in his commitment to confront Hamas, despite the heavy toll felt by families of victims and hostages alike. In the midst of escalating tensions, contrasting memorials reveal a nation torn between resilience and dissatisfaction with leadership. While some gather to honor the fallen, others voice their frustrations, highlighting the deep rifts in public sentiment. As international leaders call for peace and dialogue, the situation remains precarious, with Hezbollah's actions intensifying the conflict. Meanwhile, we turn our attention to Haiti, where survivors recount the horror of a recent gang attack that has left the nation reeling. With over 70 lives lost and thousands displaced, the struggle against gang violence continues to challenge the government and its efforts for stability. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. Deutsche Welle reports on the ongoing conflict in Israel and Lebanon as the country commemorates 1 year since the devastating October 7 attacks by Hamas. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that Israel's military has significantly altered the situation in the region, although fresh strikes in southern Beirut, a Hezbollah stronghold, indicate escalating tensions. In a significant development, Hezbollah targeted an Israeli military intelligence facility near Tel Aviv, while Israel responded with airstrikes, claiming to have hit over 120 Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon in just 1 hour. The day also saw two contrasting memorial events in Israel, one organized by bereaved families focusing on security failures and abandonment, and the other a government-led ceremony emphasizing remembrance and hope, highlighting the deep divisions within Israeli society regarding the handling of the aftermath of the attacks. The South China Morning Post highlights Netanyahu's determination to continue fighting against Hamas and restore security to Israel during the official commemoration of the October 7 attacks. Despite the immense suffering and loss of life in Gaza, with reports indicating nearly 42,000 deaths, Netanyahu remains resolute in achieving war objectives such as dismantling Hamas rule and ensuring the safe return of hostages. The anniversary prompted international leaders, including those from Germany and the EU, to express solidarity with Israel while also acknowledging the suffering of Palestinians. U.S. President Joe Biden emphasized the need for a ceasefire and humanitarian aid, reflecting the growing calls for a balanced approach to the ongoing conflict. As the conflict continues, voices from various sectors, including families of hostages, demand action and accountability. Michael Levy, brother of a hostage taken by Hamas, stressed the need for an international effort to secure a deal for their release. Meanwhile, the public memorials in Israel saw families grieving for loved ones lost or abducted, with urgent calls for investigations into security failures. The stark contrast between the government's narrative and that of the bereaved families illustrates the complexities and emotional toll of the conflict, as both sides grapple with the ramifications of a year marked by violence and suffering. The Independent reports that former President Donald Trump, reflecting on the 1-year anniversary of the devastating Hamas attack in Israel, expressed his frustration over Israel's lack of support for him. Trump claimed he had done more for Israel and the Jewish community than anyone else, asserting that Israel needs to get smart and back him. He highlighted his administration's pro-Israel actions, such as moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and recognizing the Golan Heights as Israeli territory. Despite his claims of being Israel's protector, Trump has faced criticism for not receiving adequate support from Jewish voters, even suggesting that those who align with Democrats should have their head examined. During a recent radio interview, he also indicated his approval for Israel to retaliate against Iran following a recent missile attack. The Telegraph opinion discusses the potential political ramifications of Hurricanes Helene and Milton on Vice President Kamala Harris's prospects in the upcoming presidential election. As the hurricanes struck battleground states like Georgia and North Carolina, concerns arose about the federal government's response to disaster relief, which has historically been criticized. Harris, as the sitting vice president, could bear the brunt of any perceived inadequacies in the response, drawing parallels to past disasters like Hurricane Katrina. The article emphasizes that the hurricanes could reinforce narratives about government priorities, particularly in contrast to aid provided to foreign nations, and may impact voter sentiment in a close election. Al Jazeera highlights the tragic aftermath of a brutal gang attack in central Haiti that left at least 70 people dead. Survivors recounted harrowing experiences of fleeing gunfire and searching for safety amidst chaos. The attack, carried out by the Grand Griffe gang, targeted vulnerable populations, including infants and the elderly, and resulted in thousands being displaced. Many survivors have sought refuge with relatives, while others have crowded into makeshift shelters. The incident underscores the escalating violence and instability in Haiti, where armed groups have increasingly terrorized communities. Despite the interim Prime Minister Gary Conille's defiant statements against the gangs, he acknowledged the challenges in restoring order, as the international community struggles to provide adequate support for security efforts. South China Morning Post reports that the Russian government has dismissed allegations that Victor Bout, the infamous arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death, is currently involved in arms dealings with militant groups in Yemen. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov labeled these claims as fakes and an attack on Russian representatives. Bout, who was released from U.S. custody in a 2022 prisoner swap, allegedly facilitated the sale of small arms to the Houthi group, but he refuted the allegations, suggesting they were timed to coincide with President Vladimir Putin's birthday. He emphasized that the article was an unsubstantiated accusation, while also praising the Houthis' military actions against U.S. drones. According to the Associated Press, intelligence officials have raised alarms about foreign interference in the upcoming congressional races, with Russia, China, and Cuba reportedly launching disinformation campaigns aimed at influencing American elections. These operations are designed to sway voters in races deemed critical to each country's national interests, particularly those involving support for Ukraine and Taiwan. The officials highlighted that such disinformation tactics extend beyond presidential elections, affecting state and local contests as well. As tensions rise, the integrity of the electoral process is under scrutiny, with increased efforts to combat misinformation and protect voter confidence ahead of the 2024 elections. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports on the controversy surrounding Khalid Baydoun, a U.S. citizen and law professor, who referred to October 7 as a day of considerable celebration for the pro-Palestinian movement during a rally in Sydney. His comments, which came in the wake of a devastating terrorist attack in Israel, sparked outrage and led to a review of his visa by the Australian government. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke expressed his disapproval and initiated a visa check. Meanwhile, the rally, attended by hundreds, featured speakers who criticized political responses to the conflict, emphasizing the importance of recognizing the suffering of all innocent lives, regardless of nationality. New York Times. On the anniversary of the devastating October 7 attacks, Israelis came together in solemn vigils to remember the profound loss and trauma that has marked the past year since Hamas's assault, which ignited an ongoing and brutal conflict. Gali Edan, a grieving wife whose husband remains a hostage in Gaza, poignantly reflected on the transformation of their nation, expressing that it feels like they are living in a different country. The Re'im Forest, a haunting site of a music festival massacre, echoed with the cries of bereaved families, even as airstrikes in Gaza served as a grim reminder of the continuing violence. The toll of the war is staggering, with around 1,200 Israelis and over 40,000 Palestinians reported dead, making it the deadliest chapter in a century-long conflict. Among those mourning were British parents Michael and Lisa Marlowe, who lost their son, Jake, during the festival. His father shared the unbearable weight of grief, stating, "I grieve constantly, as the nation collectively mourns and hopes for an end to the horrific cycle of violence." Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Great dragon breaks ancient streets, feeding change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all to play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the cards, marching strong with mighty force. Whoa. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west and knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play. Future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course. Marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power